Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 11th of December 2018. So today's Tuesday. So welcome to Tuesday's morning session, where we're gonna have a look at the markets, a few charts, as always, the usual stuff. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. There's always a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so right now let's not waste any more of our time and let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on is the FTSE MIB, which is the Italian stock, which is the Italian index. So basically what we're seeing here is this is a daily chart, and we've got this downside movement here from this index, and as you can see, it started since it started around May time, and the index continues to fall lower, and of course it continues to trade below this little downside resistance line taken from the peak of the 7th of May. So in a way, certainly the overall outlook here is still more negative. The only problem is here this little short-term range that we're seeing here, where the index is trading in. So this is approximately between the 18,420 on the downside and the 19,630 area level on the upside. So basically this is where we're going to keep on monitoring, because we could see a bit more range trading here. But be very cautious, because you can see that yesterday the index closed just bang on the this area. So this of course raises a bit of concerns. Will we see a reversal here back to the upside, where we could then aim for the this upper bound of the range, or actually we're going to get a break and then we're going to push lower? So let's say if we're going to get a nice break here and eventually we're going to get a close of the daily candle below this area here, in a way you could look at the 18,400 as a level, just to kind of be more to have a more nicer area here, so nicer level. So the 18,400 could be your level. A break below that could potentially open the path toward the next possible area of support near the 17,950 level. So just to kind of show you what was that area before. Now this was, if we go all the way here back to 2016, so that was the 23rd of June high. So this is quite an interesting level to watch, especially, like I said, if we're going to get a break below the 18,400 level. Keep on monitoring then this 17,950. Certainly slightly below that, we do have another good potential area of support near the 17,420 zone, which, as you can see, acted as a very nice area of resistance here back in 2016 in September's time. So basically it was near the highest point of September and the highest point of October. So quite an important level, the 17,420 is. So keep your eyes on that one as well. But again, for those two levels, for us to see, or should I say consider those two potential areas of support, we need to see initially a drop and a close below this this bottom side of this little range here that we've got running here since around the end of October time. So on the upside, well, from the very short-term perspective, let me just jump into a 4-hour chart on this one. So this is what's happening right now, and basically what we can look at here is if, let's say, the index manages to push back above this little area here at around 18,580 zone, this could be seen as a good sign, a good sign for the bulls, maybe to try and push this one a little bit higher. Certainly for those who are more on the conservative side, you could in a way keep your eyes on this little high here near the 18,970 level. So in a way you could wait until, let's say, if this decides to push back up here, you could wait until this this index manages to get closer towards the 18,970 level, and then if we'll start seeing that this level is no match for the bulls, we could see a break here, and this is where it could become more exciting for those who are conservative buyers here, and we could potentially travel a little bit higher here, even like I said, maybe testing the upper side of the range that we've got this that we've got the index trading in. So yep, for now guys, be very cautious on this one. It's a very interesting, it is at a very interesting spot here right now, but nevertheless, I mean, it could lead towards a few surprises. So yep, let's see how that performs. For now, long story short guys, keep your eyes on this little range. If we get a nice close on the daily candle here below this lower side of the range, then yep, I mean, this could continue falling further, and we could then target the levels that I just talked about, and the levels of 2016. But if this reverses back up here, certainly initially keep your eyes on the 18,580 zone. This is something for those who are more adventurous, but for those who are more on the cautious side, the 18,970 area, approximately there, could be your level to watch. Jumping into one commodity, or should I say precious metal, and we don't look at that very often, but nevertheless it's quite interesting to see how platinum is performing nowadays. And the interesting bit here is that from all the precious metals, I mean, platinum is the least or should I say the worst performer from the three, so from gold, silver, and yep, and platinum, of course. So looking at this, of course, looking at this daily chart, you can see that we managed to break some of the key support areas here, some of the key support lines, and of course we can probably get rid of this one. This was a very short term, and in a way was a tentative one, so now we can kind of in a way focus on this little short term upside support line, or should I say actually medium term upside support line, taken from the low of the 16th of August. Now you can see that it managed to break that to the downside. In a way, of course, this automatically makes us draw this other line here, which is the downside resistance line. So in a way, as long as it kind of remains intact, so we'll still aim for lower levels, even if we're going to see a bit of correction here to the upside. From the near-term perspective, we need to see this break here above this short-term downside resistance line in order to kind of consider higher levels, and of course then as well we'll still be very cautious, because we do have this line here, this upside support line, which in a way, of course, could get tested from underneath. So for those who are, let's say, more of an investor here, you could in a way wait until this kind of gets above this line here and then aim for higher levels. But for now guys, I mean, judging from the picture that we're seeing here right now, this is a bit tricky. Certainly looking from the very short-term perspective here, let's see how that's looking at here, and let me just remove a few lines here, some of the old lines that are kind of in a way probably no longer valid, but this is what you can in a way look at here right now. So as you can see, the precious metal is kind of stuck here, it's just slightly above the 781 level, but it remains below the pivot here for today. So in a way, this is still a bearish indication for us to, let's say, to consider maybe a nice move higher, at least in the short run. We would need to see a nice good pop here above the 795 level, approximately there, and only then we'll consider a possible move higher, at least maybe towards the this short-term downside resistance line that I was talking about. So in a way, for now, guys, be very cautious on this one. Keep monitoring these levels, and like I said, on the upside, keep an eye on the 795 area. Of course, if this continues to push higher, we could reach the psychological 800 level, but probably the 800 level could be just a pit stop for this precious metal, and it could continue pushing higher towards this downside resistance line that I was talking about. So keep your eyes on that one. On the downside here, well, I mean, like I said before, it still kind of looks kind of more to the bearish side. So basically another drop here below the 781 level could potentially drag this one towards the lows that we saw yesterday, and that was approximately around the 775. So in a way, the 775 area could be your gateway towards much lower levels. Of course, if we get a break below that level, now, this is where then we could target the 755, 56, something like that, approximately there. Or let me just actually adjust this a little bit, guys. Something moved a little bit. So, yep, the 755 level, this could be your next potential target here, in a way, a long-term one or a near-term one. Because from the short-term perspective here, we do have another potential area of support near the 765, which was marked here by the lows of the 4th of September. So, yep, guys, some good potential areas here. For now, be very cautious. Wait for a break here below the yesterday's lows, and then aim for lower levels. And on the upside, yep, keep your eyes on the 795 area, which was marked here near the highs of the 9th of December. So this could be the gateway towards a little bit higher levels here, at least towards the downside resistance line. Jumping into a few pairs now. So looking at the Euro Aussie, probably not going to spend too much time on this one, but as you can see from the picture, this daily picture here, we managed to break this short-term downside tentative line here, so we can in a way get rid of that one. So this is where the pair got stalled, and let me just jump into a 4-hour chart on this one. So, and again, let me just slightly adjust this line. It kind of skewed a little bit. So basically, this is the picture that we're seeing right now here, and you can see that the pair managed to reach this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 11th of October. Managed to kind of at one point managed to break it, but still struggled to remain above it. So as you can see, now we had a bit of a slide here to the downside. This is where the pair found support near the 157.57 area, approximately there. So it was just about around the highs here. Actually, we can slightly lift this a little bit, so it will probably drag it towards the around the 57.70 area. So quite an interesting level becomes this one, the 157.70. So watch out for that one, guys, because a nice good drop below this could of course lead it towards the S1 here, S2. That's of course, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about today. So if we get a drop below the 157.70, guys, keep on watching the S1, because this is where the pair, let me just zoom in here a little bit, this is where the pair saw its support here near already today during the Asian morning. So but a further decline here below this area could drag the pair towards this little area of support here near the 157.05, approximately there. You can see that it acted as a very nice area of support here back on the 6th of December, and also acted as a high on the 26th of November. So quite an important level this one is, but for those who are more on the cautious side, in a way, you could wait and see if this actually gets broken, the 157.05 gets broken, and only then you'll probably could target much lower levels like the 155.90 or even a little bit lower. But of course, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves here. But if this downside resistance line today gets broken again and the pair moves above the 158.55 area, approximately there, now this is where you could see probably more bulls jumping in, driving this one higher, maybe towards the R2 first, which is near the 159.20 area, approximately there. But if that doesn't hold, we do have slightly above that, we do have a better area of resistance here near the 159.50, which was marked here by the lows of the 30th of October. So quite an interesting level this one is. But again, for now, be very cautious. We're at a very tricky spot. We're below this downside resistance line, but struggling to drop below the 157.70. So let's see how that plays out. And yep, refer to these levels that I was just talking about, and let's see how they perform. Jumping into GBPCHF, now this is of course, as you probably understand, that yesterday the pound got hit with all the Brexit news here, and this is what's happening. And yesterday you can see that the GBPCHF got hit as well. So declined, managed to break this key support area near the 124.58. approximately there, of course, or maybe in a way you could round it up towards the 124.60, so we could stick to that level, and we broke that level to the downside and managed to reach the area near the 123.80. So this was where the bulls the bears got stopped, got held, and the bulls managed to push this pair back up again. Still, nevertheless, closed the day below the 124.60. So we could see a bit of continuation here to the downside, and especially if we're going to get a break below yesterday's lows, well, watch out for the 122.90 area, which was marked here by the low of the 28th of August. So keep your eyes on that one. Still, like I said, the momentum is still to the downside, unless this, of course, gets back above the 124.60 and then pushes back above the 125 level. Now this is where it could become interesting for the bulls again, at least for the short run, and they could push the pair back up here towards the 126.45. So keep your eyes on down. And the last pair quickly I wanted to touch on, and that's USDCHF. Similar story. So the CHF is kind of picking up the pace here, even though the US dollar kind of wasn't the worst performing performer yesterday, but still it declined against the Swiss franc. And now, if this direction is going to be true, of course it's holding its path now lower. Looking at this daily chart, you can see that it managed to break some key areas of support near the 0.9913 area initially. So basically we had this little range that the pair was trading in. So just let me quickly mark that. So this is what I'm talking about. So basically we had this little range, and it managed to break through this one and moved lower. So the break of course happened on on Friday, and now it continues to push lower. So the path that is holding here towards the 200 EMA. We've got shown here as the black line here on the daily chart, but slightly up below that we do have the 0.9850 level, which was marked here by the lows of the 15th of October. So in a way, watch out for that one. This is where the rate could stall initially, until kind of the bulls and the bears figure out who's gonna take the driver's seat from there. So for now, be very careful. It seems that it wants to continue pushing lower. Let's see if it actually touches this 200 EMA or even the 0.9850 level, and then we'll see how that plays around here, and we'll take it from there if we reach that area, because like I said, a break below this could eventually drag this one much lower. So but let's not get ahead of ourselves, and let's see how this performs today and this week, of course. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful, and do apologize for running a little bit over my time, but thank you very much for staying around, and yep, I hope you found it useful. And if you want to join me later on in my Traders Tea Time, and that's 14:15 GMT time. So for now, thank you very much and have a wonderful trading day. Bye bye.